Good evening and welcome to Healthline. I'm Suzanne Whatley.
You are Suzanne Whatley.
You are?
We work. Hi there. I'm Gregory Zarin. Hi. Hello. Happy first day of summer.
We're beaching it, baby. We are talking about summertime health here on Healthline today. We're going to be taking you to the brand new pool in Glendale, Pacific Park Pool.
Exactly. We're going to be taking you out into the community to ask you what keeps you safe during the summer. I did that.
That's right. And we're also going to be taking you to the emergency room at Glendale Adventist Medical Center to talk to Dr. Cardillo, who sees all kinds of problems coming in and ones that particularly have to do with the summer months. First of all, I have to ask you, Gregory, to stand up and model those cool board shorts of yours.
Now, for you at home, if you want to look cool during the summer, this is how you do it. Ready? Okay.
Woohoo! All right.
It's exactly how it's done. And you can take that with you. Because if you want to be cool at the beach, this is how you do it. Just saying. So we're
Give me my towel.
And Suzanne's covering up. Okay, so our show is about summer safety. Do you know what to do if something happens with your child, with a spouse, someone you love? Do you have emergency numbers tucked away? Do you have extra cash? How are you staying safe this summer? This is what we want to know, and if you don't know, we're here to give you everything you need to know.
We're going to be talking to pediatrician Dr. Bradley Bursch, and he is with Glendale Pediatrics, but first let's take you to the ER.
Here I am at Glendale Adventist Medical Center's emergency room. When you think of summer safety, what do you think of? I'm going to find out for you the most important summer health tips that will have you and your family have a happy, healthy summer. Here I am at Glendale Adventist Medical Center with superstar ER Dr. Anthony Cardillo. Great to have you here.
Great to be here today.
Summer is upon us. What's the most important thing you want us to know about summer safety?
Well, when we think of summer safety, of course, we always think about children.
Yes.
And how do we keep our kids safe? And so top of the list is pool safety. Okay? So parents need to be reminded that pool safety is paramount. They need to have all of their pools fenced in appropriately with alarms and sensors and 100% parental supervision every time a child is even remotely near a pool. The next would be street safety.
Okay.
Very important. Kids are out, they're out of school, they're running in the streets, and watching your children, educating your children about not running in the streets, always stopping, looking, making sure there's no traffic at all. A lot of falls also, children going to the playgrounds. Again, parental supervision, okay? Kids are out there climbing on the monkey bars, falling off, breaking their wrists, breaking their elbows, having head contusions. These are big problems we see in the ER all the time.
Doctor, what about insect bites, bee stings, and especially with where we are, even snake bites?
Right. So we do see quite a bit of that as well, allergic reactions. The important thing with this is if you've ever had an allergic reaction in the past, you must be prepared. And so if you've been stung by a bee and you've had an allergic reaction or an insect, you need to have your EpiPen available, an epinephrine pen, okay? Multiple vials in multiple locations.
What is the most important bit of information you want to give to us in regards to summer safety?
I think it's being alert and aware. That's the most, if you are, whether it's by pool, outside on the street, out at the beach, playing, out in the desert or hiking, if you're alert, you're aware, and you're prepared, those are the most important things for summer safety. That's the biggest piece of advice you can give any parent watching children that are now off from school, out on vacation, roaming the streets, looking to get hurt. It's up to the parents to really be watching as carefully as possible to make sure there's no danger in harm's way for their children.
So you just heard it. The most important things about summer safety are be aware and be prepared. Have a great summer from us at Healthline.
I've been golfing for years. Golf is not just recreation for me. It's part of doing business. Lately, my swing keeps slowing me down, and the pain in my hip is making me feel old. So I went to see an orthopedic surgeon at Glendale Adventist Medical Center. I found that I needed hip replacement surgery and was pleased that they offered a minimally invasive approach. I was back at work within a week, and my swing is better than ever. Thanks to Glendale Adventist, I'm back in the game.
Welcome back to Healthline. We just spent some time with Dr. Anthony Cardillo in the emergency room at Glendale Adventist Medical Center, giving us some awesome tips, don't you think?
Yeah, he had some great stuff to say. You don't want to end up in the emergency room, but if you have to, you can only hope that you have a doctor like Dr. Cardillo. He's awesome, one of our favorites. We also are having the pleasure of welcoming back Dr. Bradley Bursch. He is with Glendale Pediatrics, a pediatrician there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you returning to Healthline. We're talking about the whole spectrum of summertime safety, and I suppose a lot of the hazards befall the kids. And what are the kinds of problems that you see cropping up, particularly in summer?
I mean, I think the scariest thing to me, or the most important thing to me, is the pool. I think that's a common place that parents don't always remember is probably one of the highest risk places in the summer.
Well, why do you feel most parents don't remember or thinking about it? Because we talked about it a little bit with Dr. Cardillo in the emergency room as well. Why do you personally think that parents just don't acknowledge it as much as they should?
Well, I mean, I think most of us have fun memories of the pool as when we were kids, and we forget that we had to learn to swim, and that when we were 2, we didn't know how to swim.
True.
And we forget that little kids can dive into pools and bad things can happen. And so I think because it is a place of such fun memories, sometimes that's what leads us to not think about what could happen to that. But if we do think about it, we can still have it be that fun place.
I think some parents also get a false sense of security from devices like water wings and things that are not certified safety vests and things that'll keep their kid from drowning, but things that are just buoyant enough to make them think that the kid is okay when they may not be.
Yeah, it just gives them enough to make the kid be dangerous, you know, because it gives the kid confidence too, but it might not be confidence that the kid really should have. Because if they don't know how to swim, but they think they do because they have swimmies on, that does mean they might not get themselves into more trouble in the pool.
What do you think the most mandatory guideline is for people that own pools in regards to having children?
I mean, I think that anyone who has a pool has to have in their head that they are going to, if the kid's in the pool, they're going in. They're going to be ready to go in the pool in any moment. They should think ahead of time, what am I going to do if someone goes in? What's my plan for my pool for safety?
So if you're saying, so if you own a pool, know how to swim. And when you were saying yesterday on the phone that if you have a plan, actually plot out in case something does happen.
Think about it. Think about it ahead of time. Know that, you know, I don't care if I have a cell phone in my pocket. I don't care if my burgers are on the grill.
Whatever.
I'm ready to go the moment it happens. And if you think about it ahead of time, you actually might do it instead of panicking. Yeah.
Let's say, God forbid, you do pull a kid out and they're not breathing. Do you run to the phone first, or do you try to get them breathing first?
For a kid, I would try to get them breathing first. So actually doing rescue breaths would actually, I think, be the best way to deal with it acutely. Once you've attempted that, the breathing is the key thing for kids. It's not their heart, it's their breathing that's critical. So if we get them breathing, we're going to be good.
What about adults?
Adults, and if it's a pool, I would have to defer Dr. Cardillo a bit, but if it's a pool, I think you probably should try to do rescue breaths first, but adults are going to need EMS faster than the kids.
So then it's the heart then?
That's the heart, yeah.
But then also the one thing you said as well when we were talking yesterday is don't panic.
Right.
If you have a plan, you don't panic. I just want to be really
much better chance to actually do something more effective if you thought about it ahead of time.
Great, thank you.
Well, certainly drowning is one of the most, the most serious emergency that you might encounter, certainly in terms of threatening life. But what are some of the most common emergencies that you see, particularly cropping up in summer?
I mean, I think the most common issues in summer would be probably sunburns and dehydration. So in terms of dehydration, it's a common thing that happens with kids, and so they tend to not listen to their parents and drink as much water as they should. They tend to be distracted by what they're doing. They tend to run till they pass out. Not per se pass out on the ground, but they get tired and they fall asleep on the couch because they overdo it sometimes. And so that's a common thing that we see.
Hold your thought, Doctor.
More about how not to let the heat get the best of you as we continue here on Healthline.
So, summer is upon us. I decided to come out into the community and find out what you're doing to have a safe and healthy summer. So summer's coming. What are you going to do this summer to stay safe?
Drink lots of water and keep myself hydrated.
Good girl. You?
Go swimming so I don't get overheated.
Good girl. And you?
I'm just gonna relax at home.
Summer safety. What is summer safety? Well, definitely sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
That's important. Lots of safety around the pool. he's going to start walking, so just making sure we're near him and paying attention and just always have our eyes on Jackson.
Summer's upon us. How do you stay safe during the summer?
Well, I used to work out a lot, so for me to be safe, I used to drink a lot of water. I wear my sunglasses to avoid the sun goes right to your eyes. And also, jogging and running and, stretching is very important too.
Stretching is very important.
That's correct.
So summer means outside with family and friends. The park, the beach, really great experiences and activities with the ones that you love. We've learned sunscreen key, water key. Some suggestions from Healthline is a hat, glasses to protect your eyes, mandatory first aid kit at home and in your car, always with you, and parents, emergency phone numbers. On behalf of all of us at Healthline, we wish you a happy, healthy, and of course, safe summer. We'll see you next time.
At Glendale Adventist Medical Center, our heart specialists understand you have questions about the health of your heart.
At Glendale Adventist, they fixed my daddy's heart.
At Glendale Adventist, they fixed my heart.
We offer the latest cardiac services and technologies. Do you know your heart health? We are Glendale Adventist Medical Center, healthcare at a higher level.
Welcome back. We were talking about summer safety and we're joined by Dr. Bradley Bursch. When we left off, we just touched on dehydration. One thing that you also said, though, when we spoke earlier was that even though you're in the pool, you still need to drink water.
It's very common people don't remember that you're still exercising, you're still using energy, you still are burning liquid off. You need to drink.
What's the difference between dehydration and sunstroke?
That's great.
Well, sunstroke is probably, I guess, a severe form of dehydration. In general, dehydration you can treat at home. Give yourself a hit some water, get some Pedialyte or something. But a sunstroke, that typically needs emergency room. They are more severely sick. They are much more out of it mentally, and they typically need IV hydrations and sometimes hospitalization.
What are some of the symptoms? What would I look for as a parent in my kid?
So from a sunstroke standpoint, they're not going to be waking up very well. They actually seem hard to wake up, hard to arouse, almost like they're going into a coma of some sort.
Really?
They're not quite in a coma state, but they are usually disoriented, not talking sense. They are
so there's obviously
probably not sweating.
There's obviously something wrong.
They're very sick, scary sick.
Okay.
You, as a parent, are typically very scared.
Speaking of sweating, do little kids sweat?
They do. We don't always notice it because they don't smell as much, but they do sweat, and so they do. They actually have a higher surface area, so they actually sometimes will dehydrate faster than adults.
Real quickly, though, in regards to dehydration, and just say adults that actually drink beer and cocktails during the summer season, they should up the ante of water, right?
Of course, the alcohol makes them pee more, and so they end up having more loss, and therefore they need more.
So bottom line, just keep on putting in more liquids.
Exactly.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was going to talk about food poisoning,
Me
which
too.
is one of the least pleasant subjects, I think, for anybody, and we've all been there. But in the
Indeed.
summer months, you go to picnics, that potato salad is sitting out, and the
Mayonnaise.
cheesecake and the mayonnaise. And how can you recognize serious food poisoning versus maybe something that you just need to take a little bit of Tums for?
Well, I think there's 3 different types of food poisoning. There's the faster one that comes on quickly. It typically is from that mayonnaise. It's from Grandma's potato salad that
We love you,
might
Grandma,
have been
but
out
not so-
too long
not so-
there. That one's going to come on quick. You're going to
Okay.
see that like 6 hours in, 8 hours in. You're going to have a lot of vomiting, a lot of diarrhea. The good news is it's relatively short.
Okay.
Usually about 24 hours. And so most of the time, if you can get through that night, you'll be okay. But the viral ones, those tend to be a day or two later, but those also don't do too much. The bacterial food poisonings can make you pretty sick. Fever, feel pretty bad. You can even have bloody diarrhea. Those sometimes need more.
That's salmonella, right?
Yeah, salmonella. There are some others too, but they in general need more. They might need more care.
What do you suggest in regards to the one that just takes about 6 hours and you're sick for the night?
Well, I
Water,
think
Gatorade?
usually first thing is to let your body settle down before you try to put too much into you.
Okay.
Take small sips, not too much. Most parents, when they're trying to rehydrate their children, they try to go too fast. They give them lots of liquid and they just vomit it out. They give them lots of liquid and they vomit it out. Instead, do just a teaspoon, and then do another teaspoon, and
Baby
then
steps.
another teaspoon, and a little at a time. A teaspoon every 5 minutes, or like 5 times, and then 2 teaspoons every 8 minutes, and then 3 teaspoons every 10 minutes. And the slow and steady race will win it. You got to go slow and steady. Most parents go too fast.
Food poisoning, then what about you're outside, you've had your food poisoning, and then you finally realize that you have a pretty nasty sunburn?
Alas, I've been there. I have two colors, white and red, right?
You can tell I tan beautifully. Just
the key way to deal with sunburn is first to prevent it. Wear a hat, wear sunscreen. Of course, not all of us always remember that, right? And so if we do have the sunburn, I think things like the aloe vera, things like moisturizing creams, keeping yourself cool and moist, preventing further burns. The next day going out is probably not your best idea. Keeping yourself covered. The 3 days in Palm Springs may be better to have that next day be a quiet day, indoor day.
What about SPF? When is it becoming ridiculous? Like I see SPF 70, 80 now.
By and large, anything past 30, you're probably going to be rubbing off the sunscreen before the SPF is wearing out. And so by your activity of life, swimming, playing sports, running around, you're going to be rubbing off the sunscreen faster than the SPF will wear out past 30. So I don't think past 30 is much benefit. Though I am a pretty fair person, my children are pretty fair. I must admit, I have put 45 on my kid, just because I think, well, at least that one moment may be a little better. But there isn't a lot of evidence that's better.
But just keep on replying.
But yeah, that's the key. You got to keep putting
with more activity and going in the pool. When we come back, more as to how to keep you safe during the summer. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Bradley Bursch. I work at Glendale Pediatrics, and I'm here to give you a health tip for the summer. When you're looking to spot dehydration in your child, you should be looking for a few different things. I think one key thing to look for is how they're feeling, how they seem to you as their parent. Very commonly, kids, when they're dehydrated, they feel kind of crummy. They feel kind of punky. They act tired. Another common thing to watch for is, are they drinking enough water? Have they been doing things that could make them dehydrated? They often get flushed in the face. They often have maybe excess sweating, and they really most commonly get really sleepy. I think the best way to treat dehydration is to take them out of the heat, get them in the cool areas, keep them out of the sun, and just give them some Pedialyte, or if you don't have that around, some Gatorade or a bit of water. I think that's the best way to treat it. I think an important piece about dehydration is trying to prevent it. When you're going outside, you should be thinking about what you're going to be doing. If you're going to be in an area that's going to be hot, you should bring lots of water, you should bring lots of liquid, and you should try to make sure your kid's drinking it. If you're going to be a place that's going to have a lot of sun exposure, make sure you use a sunscreen. Wear a hat, it's important. Use common sense. I think it's the best way to protect your child and you from dehydration.
I am a swimmer. I am a dancer. I am a mother. I couldn't be me without the Spine Institute at Glendale Adventist.
Their renowned specialists provide everything from physical therapy to advanced surgical techniques for your neck and back pain. Glendale Adventist Medical Center, helping you get back to life.
Here I am at Pacific Pool in Glendale, where the community comes together to stay cool during the hot days of summer, and we get to play with some really great friends. Come on. So here I am at Pacific Pool, and I'm joined with David A. Hearn, Assistant Director of Parks here in the city of Glendale. Thank you for joining us, David.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you folks here at Pacific Park Pool.
It's great to have you here with us. What do you do, first of all, here in the city?
Well, I'm the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. I've been with the city for 30 years. And this facility is one that we just finished building.
So what kind of families do you get that come here to play in the pool?
I tell you, everyone is here. Everyone is here. Moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, teenagers, everyone is here. Users that use this pool reflect the diversity of our community.
Okay, so before I get to go in the pool, I have to talk to Courtney, who is the Community Service Coordinator here at Pacific Pool. Welcome, Courtney.
Thank you.
What exactly do you do here?
I am the coordinator in charge of the program. I oversee, hire and train all the lifeguards, and coordinate the recreation swim program as well as the youth and adult swim lessons.
Water wings, are these safe?
They are not safe.
They're not?
They are not safe.
Why
and I
is
know
that?
that they're sold, and so parents would think that they are safe, because why else would they be manufactured and sold? But they provide a false sense of security to parents when the child is wearing them, number one. Number two, they pop very easily, and if they don't fit properly, they can slip off. If a child is swimming and ends up putting their arms up, they can slip right off, and then the child is right under the water.
So Courtney, what exactly do you want people to know when they come to participate here at Pacific Pool in regards to safety and must-haves?
There's a couple of aspects. Number one, we want to make sure that the kids stay hydrated, that they are wearing sunscreen properly. Sometimes parents will apply sunscreen, but it'll be a white film, and we want to make sure that the parents get it rubbed in.
So really lather it on.
Yeah,
Okay,
lather it on, but really make sure that it's rubbed in so that we don't see any white.
Okay, look, it's rubbed in. Can I go in now, please?
Let's go.
Thank you. So we learned from David and Courtney that this pool here is a place for the community to come together and have a great time. And bottom line, it's all about safety. We'll see you at Pacific Pool.
Running is life to me. It clears my head. A day is not complete unless I've gone for a run. So when my knee started to ache, I didn't know what to do. My physician referred me to the Therapy and Wellness Center at Glendale Adventist. My physical therapist quickly assessed the problem. We worked together to strengthen my knee and fix what was wrong. Now I feel stronger than ever. Thanks to the staff at Glendale Adventist Therapy and Wellness Center, I feel more like myself again.
Well, we've talked about when the sun burns. What about when the bee stings? In our discussion of summertime health with Dr. Bradley Bursch, I want to know what to do when the bee stings.
Ow, that's all I gotta say.
Right.
With a bee sting, I think if you can get the stinger out, get the stinger out, but it's not actually that important to get the stinger out. But I think most trouble with bee sting is local. There are some kids who are very severe allergic, and those tend to have trouble right away. But
they'll stop breathing.
They can get to where they need to go to the hospital right away and need epinephrine. But most kids aren't allergic to bees, and they just get local reactions. So those can be very swollen and painful. Typically, try to keep the area elevated, ice it if you can. If you have Benadryl, you can give that Benadryl.
Benadryl that reduces swelling?
There's some histamine reaction, and so it might help it some. But early on, it helps. Later on, it doesn't do much.
Okay.
Mostly, you're just going to have to kind of get through it.
Is that the same thing with other insect bites as well?
No, different actually. With like a mosquito bite or more of the little small no-see-ums, those little bugs that you're like, where did I get that bite from? The little steroid cream can help those decrease the itch a lot. Like hydrocortisone cream, like something like that. And cortisone, some sort of hydrocortisone cream typically can help with the itch, help with the inflammation a bit.
What about snake bites?
Well, snake bites is a bigger deal. Rattlesnakes are a very important emergency that needs to be pursued very quickly because they can be very serious. Most, the rattlesnakes. The other snakes in Los Angeles County aren't typically poisonous unless they're brought in by someone else.
Well, if you're out hiking in our local mountains, it's a good chance that you're going to encounter something like a poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac. Is that another
poison
one?
death sentence.
Yeah.
Poison
oak.
I'm allergic to it, so
as a hiker, I agree.
horrible.
Poison oak is not very fun. Poison oak is the most common around here. Leave the 3, let it be. That's the thing that my dad taught me.
Because it's got 3 leaves.
It has 3 leaves coming off of each other. It's worth looking it up on the internet before you go because it's distinctive. But when you get poison oak, it's kind of thing you want to get it washed off as fast as possible. Like if you know you've been exposed, washing off in the shower as best you can. The clothes that you had on, carry the oil, get those clothes washed, and don't let them adulterate anything else. And once you have the poison oak, I think there can be very severe cases, and it could actually it might be really worth your time to come see me because there's things that I can do to help you feel much better.
And which is what? What can
So
you do?
oftentimes kids need, sometimes it's just topical steroids, but sometimes they need oral steroids. They can be really that severe.
I have both.
Yeah.
One problem that afflicts vacationers is motion sickness. You're on a car trip, a boat trip. What's happening to create motion sickness?
Yeah. Our brain kind of tracks how we move in space, and our eyes track how we move in space. And sometimes what our brain is telling us with some of the sensors and what our eyes are telling us can be different, and that sets up to have motion sickness. I know I had it a lot as a kid.
What do you do?
In general, for kids, a lot of it's giving ginger, teaching them how to watch the road. Because if you can correlate your eye, if you get your eyes and your ears together, they tend to do better. But there is some medicines like Dramamine, Bonine, different sort of medicines that can help you feel, but most kids get sleepy with them. So I usually use ginger and.
So just find out what works for you.
Like ginger root.
Yeah, ginger root. You know, this crystallized ginger tea. It's one of those grandma remedies that actually has some effect.
Doctor, final thoughts in regards to summer safety.
I mean, I think it's use common sense. There's so many things, whether it be sunburns, whether it be the pool, whether it be insects, whether you're walking around. If you think about it ahead of time and you're prepared, whether you say, hey, I'm going to this situation, I need to bring my water, I know I'm going to need to be where I need to do. If you're prepared, you can prevent these things because it's best, I think, to prevent rather than treat.
And how can people find you?
I work at Glendale Pediatrics. We have a website, www.glendalepeds.com.
Doctor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Versh. And we will let you go out and enjoy this beautiful summer evening. Meantime, we're going to go back to our tanning.
And get ready. We just want to say real quickly as well, notes for a healthy summer is just be aware and be prepared. And remember, the most important thing you have is your health. So have a conversation about it. We are going to kick back right here at the Healthline Lounge. Have a happy summer.
Stay safe and stay cool.
Could you fan me now, please?